As you mentioned, one of the stated priorities Canada in the region is promoting respect for human rights. But what is the most effective approach to address human rights in Middle Eastern countries? You were in Saudi Arabia, Iran, how many countries? You would be the best person to start with. And then we can go round table.
Well, I would say the least effective way to approach human rights is kind of the approach that we've taken, and not just with this particular government, but previous governments as well. But I think it's sort of increased under the current one. It's something that I call Twitter diplomacy, which I don't think is an effective way to deal with things. To stand on the sidelines and yell at countries and wag your finger at them, the natural reaction is to get your back up or to ignore. And I don't think that's effective. It can be part of building an international, if it's a particular issue, a particular case, it can be part of building an international consensus on a particular issue or a particular country. I get that. But it has to be part of a broader relationship. You have to be engaged. The formula is pretty simple. It's, if you engage a country, then you get access to, if you engage them across the board, political, diplomatic, commercial, what have you, you get access to senior people. And when you get access to senior people, you have an opportunity for influence. If you're standing on the sidelines and just screaming and yelling your finger, waving your finger, it gets you nowhere. I mean, we know this in our own human interactions. If you've got a neighbor who's annoying and is throwing his garbage at the end of your street, and you've never said a word to him except yell at him about the garbage, he's going to ignore you. But if you had established a relationship with them, and you were friendly with them, and you knew him, you talked to him, and say, hey Joe, listen, don't throw the garbage on the street. He may still tell you to get lost, but he may listen to you. And it's kind of the same thing. So I think you need to have a relationship that engages across the board so that you can talk and you can make your representations on a particular case or a particular issue. You still may get ignored. And most of the countries in the region will ignore us. But it does start to register. And then you start to try as well to try and use sort of soft power influences to try and change the narrative in the country. And for Saudi Arabia, for example, we had a very well-developed education cooperation program. 15,000 students a year that would come here. And there's 100,000 students across the world that go to Western countries, Saudis. They go to Western countries. They go back as engines of change, as agents of change. And you see some of this reflected in some of the reforms in Saudi Arabia, and we'll get to that later, I know. But so it has to be a comprehensive approach. Standing and yelling, it's PR. To my mind, it's meant to sort of hit constituencies that a particular government wants, whether it's Human Rights Watch or Amnesty International, or their own domestic constituencies. Say, look at us, aren't we moral? Well, that's fine. I mean, we can tick that box and get pats on the back when they go to Geneva. But in terms of actually, if what we want to do is change, actually effect change, and if our objective is that, as opposed to being seen to be good human rights people, then you need to engage and you need to have a comprehensive relationship.